Ya, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Tsabitha Asfarina Putri and my student number is A320210114 from class H ESP. And today I'm going to do a presentation about my summary, and the title of my summary is Comparative Study of ESP Needs Analysis Across Countries. Okay, first, research in ESP Needs Analysis in Algeria. This study explores the English for Specific Purposes ESP needs of Master 1 students at INATA, Algeria. It collected data from doctoral students and subject matter teachers through questionnaires to identify language difficulties, learning needs, and ways to improve the ESP course. Key findings: main language problems, text comprehension, technical vocabulary, writing, and speaking. Students' attitude generally positive towards ESP courses, though they find the allocated time too short. Priority skills, writing and speaking are viewed as the most important for academic and research purposes. Suggestion for improvement: extend course hour, emphasize pronunciation and oral communication, include analysis of scientific articles and group presentation, encourage cooperation between ESP and subject teachers. Next, research in ESP needs analysis in Ethiopia. This study examines the English for Specific Purposes ESP needs of textile industry professionals in Ethiopia to improve university training for textile engineering students. Data were gathered from 156 questionnaires and interviews with 8 managers from 6 textile companies in Bahir Dar, Addis Ababa, and Hawassa. Key findings: English use. English is the main medium for international communication in the textile industry, especially in emails, reports, customer interaction, and meetings. Essential skills: speaking, writing, and reading are the most important for performing tasks effectively. Common issues: many graduates struggle with communication skills, especially understanding technical documents, writing emails and reports, and interacting with suppliers. Employers' concern: poor English proficiency leads to misunderstandings and delays in production and international dealings. Interview results: 75% of interviewees identified speaking and writing as the most critical skills. Others also included reading and listening for full workplace communication. Next, research in ESP needs analysis in Iran. This study investigates the English for Specific Purposes ESP needs of architecture students and graduates in Iran to evaluate and improve ESP course design at Lam University. The research involved 48 students and 72 graduates who completed questionnaires assessing their language needs, course satisfaction, and skill priorities. Key findings: most important skills, both students and graduates identified reading comprehension as the top priority, followed by writing, speaking, and listening. Skill weakness: participants felt the least improvement in English in listening and speaking, suggesting limited communicative competence development. Course issues: many expressed dissatisfaction with textbooks, course content, topics, and limited duration of ESP instruction. Teaching responsibility: opinions were divided. Some prefer architecture instructors, others English teachers, or a combination of both. General study skills: graduates emphasized the need for English in learning as architecture technologies, using technical vocabulary, and participating in professional workshops. Okay, next, Research in ESP Needs Analysis in Taiwan. This study investigates university students' perceived needs for English for specific purposes or ESP courses at a Taiwanese University of Science and Technology. A total of 257 students, both English majors and non-majors, at varying proficiency levels, participated in a needs analysis survey to identify which English skills were most important for their future professional and academic goals. Key findings: high perceived value of ESP. About 80% of students believed ESP courses were useful for their future careers. Most needed skills. Students rated listening as the most needed skill, followed by writing, reading, and speaking. Interest in learning English. Over half of the students showed strong motivation to learn English, particularly at higher proficiency levels, where motivation and perceived importance increased. Proficiency differences. Students with advanced English skills displayed significantly higher interest in English learning than those at lower levels. Career orientation. While most students acknowledged ESP importance, many didn't expect to work in English-related jobs, reflecting Taiwan's traditional industry structure. Next, research in ESP Needs Analysis in Indonesia, staff at Hotel 1. This study explores the English language needs of hotel staff in Bandung, Indonesia to help design a more relevant English for specific purposes or ESP curriculum for tourism and hospitality programs, using a quantitative survey of 27 hotel employees, including managers, receptionists, and front desk staff. The study examined which language skills are more important in their daily work and what challenges they face when using English. Key findings: importance of English. 80% of participants rated English as very important in hotel work. Most needed skills: speaking ranked highest, followed by listening, writing, and reading. Grammar and vocabulary were considered less crucial but still necessary. Crucial communication functions. Giving information about hotel facility services, it's about 84.6%. Handling complaints, 73%, and welcoming guests and offering help were also important for frontline staff. Common problems: nervousness and fear of making mistakes when speaking, limited vocabulary, difficulty understanding foreign accents, and suggestions. Staff recommended adding more conversation practice, complaint handling scenarios, and vocabulary enrichment focused on hotel terminology. Okay, next. Research in ESP Needs Analysis in Indonesia, staff at Hotel 2. This qualitative study investigates the English language needs of front desk staff in the Indonesian hotel industry, focusing on the design of an ESP conducted at Kapal Garden Hotel Malang. The research involved 3 staff members and 1 hotel manager through interviews and participant observation to identify their likes, wants, and necessities in English communication. Key findings: main difficulties is staff struggled with speaking, especially when responding to foreign guests, and they also had problems understanding accents. Work necessities: using English during check-in or check-out, room transaction, explaining hotel facilities, directing guests, and handling payments. Learning expectation: Staff and the manager emphasized improving pronunciation and speaking fluency. They desired practical training on hotel-related vocabulary and conversational scenarios. Preferred training format: once or twice weekly session, flexible scheduling to match irregular work hours. Okay, next, research in ESP Needs Analysis in Indonesia, staff at hotel, food and beverages. This qualitative study investigates the English language needs of food and beverage staff at Emersia Hotel and Resort Bandar Lampung, Indonesia. It aims to identify the specific English skills required by staff to perform effectively in hospitality context. 5 senior F&B employees, 3 males and 2 females, were interviewed to explore their language needs, lacks, and wants. Key findings: most needed skills, speaking and listening, are the two most essential skills for daily communication with guests. Speaking is required for greeting, offering menus, taking orders, confirming bills, apologizing, and handling complaints. Listening is equally crucial due to challenges in understanding various accents and dialects of foreign guests. Lacks difficulty in understanding different accents, limited vocabulary leads to hesitation and reliance on gesture during service. Once, staff members expressed a need for more English training, especially focused on speaking and listening practice. Existing English courses in hotels were deemed insufficient in duration and focus. Other skills, writing and reading, were considered less critical but still useful. Next, research in ESP Needs Analysis in Indonesia, student from marketing. This study explored the English for specific purposes or ESP needs of marketing students at SMK 1 Bone, Indonesia, using a strategy analysis approach to identify preferred materials, learning methods, motivation, and essential language subskills. Data were collected from 50 students through questionnaires distributed via Google Forms and analyzed using descriptive statistics. Key findings: preferred materials. Students prioritized product management and marketing strategy as the most relevant ESP content, followed by sales management and international marketing. Preferred learning methods, group work, individual task, and whole class instruction were the most favored approaches. Preferred activities, reading for information, listening to instruction, giving presentation, and writing marketing documents were the most preferred. Motivation for learning English. The top motivation were communicating fluently, career preparation, and better job opportunities. Most important subskills, reading ranked highest, followed by speaking, listening, and writing. Next, research in ESP Needs Analysis in Indonesia, students from nursing. This study examines the English language needs of nursing students at Polytechnic Sandikarsa Makassar, Indonesia, to improve the design of ESP courses relevant to their academic and professional context. A total of 36 nursing students, 2 ESP lecturers, and several stakeholders participated through questionnaires based on the Hutchinson and Waters framework. Key findings: general proficiency. Most students had a moderate level in listening, speaking, writing, grammar, and vocabulary, while reading was rated as good. Most needed subskills: reading work schedules and understanding employment contracts. Listening, understanding instruction and English conversation, including multimedia. And speaking, pronouncing new vocabulary, explaining materials or procedures, writing paragraphs, reports, and contract in English. Learning materials. 16 ESP topics were proposed and all received positive responses from students, teachers, and stakeholders. Identified issues. ESP courses in nursing programs often rely too heavily on general English, lacking relevance to professional needs such as hospital communication or medical terminology. Next, research in ESP Needs Analysis in Indonesia, student from physical education. The study investigates the English for specific purposes or ESP needs of physical education students at Universitas Teknokrat Indonesia and Universitas Lampung. The research aims to design more relevant ESP materials to replace the currently used general English courses that do not address students' professional goals. Data were collected from 15 students and 10 lecturers using questionnaires and interviews. Key findings: English proficiency. Most students rated their speaking, listening, vocabulary, and pronunciation as weak or very weak. They were relatively confident in reading and writing skills. Career goals. The majority aimed to become teachers or sport journalists, while others wanted to be athletes, referees, or coaches. Preferred ESP topics. Both students and lecturers prioritized teaching instruction, English for sports journalism, communication for athletes, referees, and coaches, and human body and physiology and body movement. Needs analysis outcome. Students requires ESP content focused on communication, writing, and teaching context in sport education. And lecturers emphasize speaking and writing skills to prepare students for global professional engagement. And the conclusion, needs analysis plays a vital role in designing effective ESP courses. Each context requires different skill priorities based on academic or workplace demands, and ESP should integrate real-life communication tasks to prepare learners for professional success. So that's all about my summary about ESP materials and hope you understand. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.